Hey guys, it's Otaku Eggy. We're back to address the speed duel stuff in my deck building process. So, I've compiled some lists or some strategies I think could be viable going forward. This is the next day after the ban list hit. These are all rough drafts. I'm going to have some deck lists and how I go with my testing to figure out which strategies I want to try moving forward. These decks can evolve during my testing, so I'm going to have my deck list at the beginning. Some decks will get cut, and we'll see where the process leads me. Alright, guys, well, here is 16 deck ideas that I thought could be viable. From Amazons to Crystal Beast to Slimes. Alright, so I'm going to go through one at a time. I'm going to go through. Let's just go into it. So, first, let's look at Amazons. So, even though this deck is hit, I still think it's very viable. I don't think it's going to be its former glory of being a strong gatekeeping deck, but I think if this deck got you, it's got you. The first notable thing in the lineup, obviously, these will be our ban list options. There's no one in here, so there's the one. So these are the ban list cards. So we're stuck into these. We can't play many other staples. To keep the rest of the Amazon stuff, I kept these three monsters: Queen, Sage, and Tiger. And now to make up for Princess having less targets, I actually added Heirloom, Village, and their Call of the Haunted Trap. I think these cards are very strong still. I think Princess getting Heirloom will allow you to kill whatever you need, and I think that's very strong. I also think Princess getting Willpower is good, because if they kill her on their turn, on their opponent's turn, activate Willpower, get Princess back, search, call, go off. And then whenever you attack with Princess, you can attack into something stupid, remove Willpower, which kills her, but you get to summon a monster from the deck like Queen. I think that's a pretty interesting play. Some other new cards is this Fat Boy. He's very strong. When a face-up Earth monster is destroyed battle opponent's card effect, special from your hand. This gives you some coverage against Dice, potentially still out there, or any other stuff like Doomcow, offerings, the normal destruction stuff. So he gets to get summoned, and when he's summoned, you get the Foolish monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is our out to Medora. This may suck at 1, but we can put 1 back, and 2's pretty good. You could also get callback in there, so I think it's a pretty valid play. You could also discard Medora with Princess whenever you attack with him to feel your graveyard, to always have that mobility. I'm going to try Giant Rat and Metaverse for the same reason. So Giant Rat, whenever he's killed, you can special summon a crappy Earth monster. So that includes Princess. So on your opponent's turn, you can resolve a Princess to get call to get into the game. I think that could be strong. Metaverse for the same reason. You can Metaverse into Village, turning any of your guys into a summon for Princess. I'm not 100% on these two cards yet, but I want to give them a try during testing. Next, I think Sphere Kribo is going to be a very popular card. I think we're going to walk into an OTK format, and this deck's gonna need some help, especially given the skill card and another tech choice. We're going to see how let's go into it. Shield Crush. Shield Crush is here mostly because of the skill we're using, Battle City Siren. Twice per duel, you can spend a monster's battle position, turning Shield Crush into a 1-for-1 monster removal at any time you want, or you can use it to turn a monster in defense so Princess doesn't hurt you as bad when you crash into something for some value. Sol and Luna, Sphere Kribo, also in synergy with Shield Crush. It's just interesting ways to stall your opponent, potentially protect over stuff like Snipe Hunter and Tribe Infecting Virus. Sol and Luna, I think, is going to be very strong still. And again, that most people were kind of sleeping on. You could flip Dark Magician down so they can't get their search. Flip another Amazon princess down on your opponent's field so they can't attack. You could flip, what's his name? Snipe Hunter down and essentially turn off their turn. This card's very disruptive. It's just as good as Book of Moon. And I think it's better in decks that need the normal summons kind of right away. And it's an interesting way to also protect Princess to kind of guarantee that she's going to live. Swords Within Light is a very strong Amazoness card. One, because it stalls. And two, because you can send off a Princess when it's late. So once this gets 2 turns on it, just send it away. And then you've gotten all the value you could have possibly gotten out of Swords. And you get a free summon. I think that's an incredibly strong play. Having some stall elements is going to help you kind of manipulate the game and get you into your onslaught. And then I have Galaxy Cyclone as a way to discard with Princess, but also just generic spell trap removal. I think it's going to be very popular in this format. The next deck we're going to get into is Coin. This deck is untouched from last format. I think it's very strong. I put Trade in my variant. I played 1 Sandgam, 1 Witch. But let's go over the deck real quick. Hold on, that's one at a time, right? So first we have our level 8 dinosaurs. They're important because of this guy. So Dynabase says if your life points are lower than your opponent, special summon. You can special summon him. Then you can fusion summon him plus a monster in your hand to go into Machine plus Dino. And you get a free fusion summon on your turn without a normal summon. Get you a 3k monster, and this monster is pretty freaking strong. The coin element of this deck will be these 6 cards. 2 Cup of Ace, which is Pot of Greed. Twin Barrel Dragon, which is like Breaker on steroids. And Arcana Reading, which is like a Rhoda for coin effects. So you can add any of these cards with this spell. The skill card, you pay half your life and you force a coin. 1 of each card type monster spell trap. Once per turn until your 3rd turn, and that's turned off. This deck is more of like an OTK variant deck. 7 Twin Barrel, Special Dynabase, Fuse to 4k, and then hopefully you pop their back row and you win. These 3 little cards, this can help you search Dynabase, this helps you search Twin Barrel, and Dogeron. Trade in are just little crappy ways to draw. I like more ways to do that. And then Swords is just a generic stall card, and I hope maybe it'll work. Let's go. Crystal Beast. Like I said before, I think Armed Dragon's a problem, so I'm going to play every possible deck I can use it. This crystal card is very odd. You can only summon crystals and dragons. Well, they thought I was going to use Rainbow Dragon. They were wrong. I'm using a better card. Discard up to 3, set them in your spell trap zone. So essentially you could discard Armed Dragon 10, set a Topaz Tiger, get access to all of your amazing Crystal Beast traps. So you have spot removal, you've got push potential, you have Cosmic Cyclone, which it's going to be hard to play. It's very good, it's very safe, it's going to shut out Amazons. If you activate a Cosmic Cyclone, I think you should try to force 1 into your build in any instance you can, because you have a silver bullet against Amazon. Like I said, I don't think Amazon will be strong, it won't be its former glory, but it's by all means, this kills the deck cold in its tracks. This deck's pretty straightforward though. You just got spot removal and a big-ass dragon. Dark Magician, this deck is amazing. This deck, I think, has a strong contender to be the #1 deck in this format. So, Magic Karibo turns Dark Magician into low-key Goras. So, it's gonna be floating, it's gonna be recurring, it's gonna be constantly there. The skill backs it up very strongly. Turns Dark Magician into Cyber Dragon. And then, once per duel while you control Dark Magician or Girl, add a card that mentions it to include Magic Karibo, Feather Duster, or target monster. Yeah, just monster removal. Then you have these amazing traps. This is basically a spellcaster's trap hole. This is an Omni-Negate as long as you have a big Dark Magician on the field, which you're probably going to get there. And Allure is very strong in this deck. I think I was looking at putting in a Sphere Karibo also. If it's 21, it's 21, boys. This way, if you have to set a Witch and you already have Magic Karibo, you can get Sphere and you're pretty solid. You could try it, you don't have to. You can even cut one of these out. I'm going to go for 21 in testing. This is a Koala Burn deck. So this skill, twice per duel, you can flip all monsters you control face down, shuffle them along the board. So monster zone here, you can put wherever, and then flip it up. And so you get basically a free flip effect, which is pretty good. So even if you normal summon Death Koala, use this skill, you're gonna flip him down and up before the game even starts. That's crazy. So right away you're going to bully your opponent beyond what they think they could do, and I love that. So just by flipping them down and up, it's half their life points. Other notable cards you can put in here is Blasphere. He really fits in here as well. I don't know how I'm going to try. You've got stall cards, you've got flip downs. You can just wait the game out. Tomato's a way to get into Koala. So if you tomato into Koala, on your next turn, you can use Desert's Peril, flip Koala up down, and then book a minute when they attack, and you can maybe get game. So this deck's just kind of like a stall, crappy burn deck. It's funny. I don't know if it's going to be amazing, but it's worth looking into. Dice. This deck is still strong. Being able to get Snipe Hunter is still just good. This skill lets you once per duel add a dice card, which is going to be Snipe Hunter, or Dice Food if you already have Snipe Hunter. Once per turn, once this card's face up, so you have to get the search off in order to get the other part, the added effect, which is once per turn when you roll a die, you can re-roll it once. So it makes the dice cards significantly, gives you a better chance. If you don't like it, roll again, especially with like his amazing odds and this thing being really good. Anywho, so to substitute all the stuff we lost, I put in Cyber Dragons. I also put in Sphere Creepers and Allures. While Allure seems kind of like it doesn't have many targets, you can always force a Snipe Hunter to hand. I think that's pretty strong. Once you have your Karibos, drawing 2, anything to get you into Melody quicker I think is going to help a lot. But that's like the big changes I did with the staples. I just added Cyber Dragon, who's going to be a strong card to summon. If you draw 2, you have no problem ripping one away. You could special him, normal Snipe Hunter. That's 36 on board. You're pushing the game forward. And I think that's one of the problems that deck's going to see is that it's not going to have as many pops and not as much push as it used to. The Don, the Dark Scorpion Gang. I love these boys. So the skill card lets them all attack directly, but they only attack for 400 damage if you use the skill. So if they have no monsters, you can still attack for full damage. But if they have any monster in the field, they can all attack directly to get their amazing effects. The only problem is you're stuck into Don Zalug and Dark Scorpions. The other key part is once per duel, while you control Don Zalug, you can discard one card, especially summon 2 Dark Scorpions, with different names, one from your hand, one from your deck. This used to be really good. I don't like that part of the effect as much as I like the attack directly part. So in my variant, I'm going to focus more on Monet the Thorn. So whenever she does damage, you get to add a Dark Scorpion to your hand from your deck or graveyard. So she could self-search, self-add, self-recover, and you can really snowball damage. Once you have 2 of these guys on the field, they're on a 4-turn clock, and I think that's huge. Then you have these other bully cards. The big one, Chick the Yellow, is target card in the field, return it to your hand. You can put Swords of Villainy back in your hand. You can essentially have infinite swords. You can protect yourself. You just keep getting the chip damage, and they're not going to be able to play. Cliff the Trap Remover, he has Mill 2, or pop a spell trap on the field. I mean, the deck has elements of mill out, deck out, and just obnoxious control. Gorg the Strong is one of the biggest bullies. When he does battle damage, target monster your opponent controls return to the top of the deck. You can basically rise and lock your opponent forever by attacking with 400 and then sticking on top of their deck. So you force them to not play monsters. When they do that, you just attack for 18 and make them mill anyway. Then I went over her, Don Zalug, rips a card from your opponent's hand or makes them mill 2. Sphere Karibo, while you can't summon non-Don Zalug, Dark Scorpions, you can sure as heck play them from your hand. So Sphere Karibo will help you protect your monsters to keep getting pushes in. And you're on 10 attacks till you win, no matter how you view it. Rhoda's amazing because they're all warriors. You just can't get him or Sphere Karibo. Soul Luna, yet again, is another amazing card because all you got to do is stall a turn to get more ramp going on. Swords of Villain, an amazing stall card. Curse of Anubis is very interesting. All effect monsters on the field turn to defense. Until they return, the original defense monster becomes 0, and the battle positions cannot be changed. So, this is interesting in a sense that you get a free spin, you spin everything on the field except Dark Magician. So that's the only problem with this. But you really get them. So if they flip up an effect monster, you flip down with, say, Sol and Luna, and you hit it with Curse of Anubis, it's stuck. Or you could get another card you stuck, say, with Sphere Karibo, Curse of Anubis, it's stuck again. Then we have Quaking Mirror Force. It's a card that just locks a zone. Do I have anything on the one list here? Don't think so. Floodgate's making its way in here. We, get rid of a curse. I know there's vouch for it, but that's better. These 4 cards zone lock. We want to zone lock them. And we want to do it bad. So if we lock all their zones, they can't play, and you get to attack for free forever. Wall of Disruption's interesting because once it goes off, your opponent is still attacking into your monsters. So you're going to get the damage in, you're going to get the effects off, and it just snowballs advantage rather well. Next is the Exchange of Spirits deck. The as predicted skill during your draw phases. If you can your normal draw, look at the top 2, add 1 to the other in the graveyard. If you do, skip your battle phase. Also, you only need 15 card, and you get the old text of Exchange of Spirit, where it's only your graveyard 15 cards. And if you have 15 or more cards in your graveyard, you can banish Exchange of Spirit from your graveyard deck with the effect of Exchange of Spirit. So this can only be done in your turn. You don't have a quick effect, Exchange of Spirits in your graveyard by any means. So all you really get to do is, the whole point of this deck is to mill yourself out. So you've Card Trooper to mill yourself out, Mirage Nightmare to mill yourself out, Calcifata to help bully with Medora. I don't want that. I want another Medora. So these are going to help you manipulate your opponent's graveyard. So he's going to help you mill 1, and then 2, the whole goal is to Medora your opponent's graveyard back away, so that whenever you use your Exchange of Spirits, they lose the game by game mechanic. So you have just more stall cards to bully them. The only new card here is Gravekeeper's Trap. While Exchange of Spirit in the graveyard, opponent becomes a graveyard special summon monsters from the graveyard, which may come up. I don't think so. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn to the main phase. Discard a card, add an Earth Fairy or a Gravekeeper card. So if you have Card Trooper, you flip this card up, add Calcifata. He dies, you draw a card. Calcifata slaps his butt on the ground. Medora comes to the grave, and now you're setting up. You have 2 cards not loaded in your graveyard, or 3 cards in your graveyard, and it's your opponent's turn. And that's what we want to see more of. During your opponent's draw phase, before their normal draw, so you basically say it on your end phase or the end of your turn. If this card is already face up on the field, declare a card name. Look at the cards drawn for their normal draw, and if it's a declare card, send to the graveyard. Funny little control element might come up. You basically just call whatever card you don't want them to see, and then they won't see it. Fossil. Fossil, I think, has so much potential right now because you get to play Fossil Dine of Pachycephalo. This skill lets you... Okay. Once a turn, you can banish a card from your hand face down, put a counter on the card. Now you can fusion summon by using either player's graveyard for these boss-ass cards. So, the power of this deck is Calcifata of Pachycephalo. So if you have Pachycephalo face up, and they kill it, and Calcifata comes down, sends Weathering Soldier to graveyard, Weathering Soldier activates, gets Time Stream. Now you have 2 Earth monsters in your graveyard and Time Stream to just go off. You also have the Medoras, for the same reason with Calcifata, to recycle your limited fusion monsters and Time Streams. It's going to help you bully them. You have Sphere Karibo, because you're going to beat the crap out of him because this guy's busted. Weathering Soldier, when he's sent to grave, you get to add Time Stream. Book of Moon's pretty good. Drag Down is so cool in this deck. You drag down, discard Weathering Soldier, you can get one of their monsters, you can start fusing right there, and they're just gonna... You're gonna get advantage before they know it. Galaxy Cyclone's good. Time Stream, it lets you level up one of your fusions. So from 4 to 6, then when this thing is in the graveyard, you can banish it. You go from 6 to 8. You can banish this one to pop a card your opponent controls. But I kind of want to just Medora it back more than I want to do that anymore. Then we have Quaking Mirror Force, more ways to flip stuff down and put stuff in defense. And that's because this guy, when he attacks a defense monster, you can do double damage and piercing. So you can instant win like that. Also, you can always flip their monster's attack and defense. Yeah. This guy can flip your opponent's monster's points. And for their defense, you do double damage. So you can win. Sneak wins like Daisy at big points. Gravekeepers. This deck is cool. Gravekeeper Spy is great. We're going to use the same skill from the Koala skill. Put Spy down. Set it. They attack it. You get a monster on your turn. Flip them down, flip them up with the skill. Get the other monster. Pop 15 things. Summon a boy. Go off. It's what it does. Missing Tomato to get into Gravekeeper Spy for your turn. Sangan to search half the crap. Monster Reborn, I think, goes very strong in this deck. Because while Descendant pops a Recruiter on your second turn, you can Reborn Recruiter and keep getting more stuff. MST, because you want to go off when you go off. Soul and Luna's here again. Soul and Luna's very strong because of Gravekeeper Spy. So if you set Spy, they attack into it, you get it. Activate Soul and Luna, flip it down, flip it up. You could use Descendant to pop a card. You could use then your skill to flip Spy down and up again. And now you haven't even rolled someone yet and you've summoned 3 monsters. Swords of Villain's a stall card. This is a trap hole for spellcasters. Another way to bully them when they attack into Spy. Not sure if this is amazing, but I want to put that in some decks. Get some free damage. It's been a while since we got to use that card well. Heart of a Warrior. Discard a card, summon a crappy vanilla fusion monster. The most important part is discard this card. So, Heart of a Warrior is popular before. It's still strong now. 1850 plus 3k is winning. You've got plenty of ways to get there. And in this variant, we're going to have a Dark Draw engine. We're going to have 3 Sphere Karibo, 2 Doomcal, and 2 Alert Darkness. And for our third 3 of, we're going to play the Cosmic Cyclone. Because, like I said, it's going to auto-kill Amazons, and I want that option. Soul and Luna is huge in this deck because you're guaranteed to have a monster every turn. You could also use it if you have Doomcal in the field. You could set your Doomcal, Special Arm Dragon White, and then flip him back up and really bully your opponent. Then we're going to have more MST options and, good dragon stuff. Next, we're going to go to Winged Dragon of Ra. This strategy is still nuts. This card's great. It searches Reborn, lets you Reborn Chicken. Discard, you can send the big chicken. When this card's on the field, you can tribute him for Jinzo, get Super Chicken from Grave, or you can call Divine Beast with Tribe Infecting Virus, killing it, summon Super Chicken, and then you're going to win the game. A bunch of MSTs in this deck because we just want to push. Jinzo because Raw to Jinzo to winning is pretty freaking good. The skill card says you contribute him, he gets points, doesn't matter. Once turn during your main phase, you activate one of these skills. Reveal Winged Dragon of Ra. From your hand, place bottom of your deck, draw a card. Once per duel, you discard 1 card. Add Winged Dragon of Ra. So you can discard this to add this. Discard the real Ra so you can reborn it later. This deck is really good. Like I said, it was a contender in the last format, but it got slept on. The Slifer deck is super cool. So this deck has this really crazy ability. When a monster level 10 question mark attack, a normal summon, each player draws till 6. And then you can reveal Slifer in your hand, put on the bottom of the deck, draw a card. And once per duel, you can discard a card, add Slifer. So that's cool. So we're going to really focus on the fact this deck can summon Slifer, 1, and then summon Arcana Triumph Joker, 2, so you could draw 12 cards, and then once you have both those in the field, you can still even summon Spell Canceller. Now that's crazy. This will give you an extra normal summon for a big-ass monster, an extra tribute summon, rather. You have plenty of special summons. These are 6 special summons. You've got double summons, so your first Slifer summon, second Slifer, or second question mark, use Angel at 1, use a double summon, get the Spell Canceller. Now you have the Floodgate, they can't play spells, and you're going to push for 4,000, 5,000 damage next turn. It's a really cool deck. Slime. Every skill it discards will be seeing Armed Dragon. If you control either of the crappy vanillas, discard a card from your hand, send the other copy or the other component from deck to grave, summon crappy fusion. Once per turn, you can special summon a crappy monster. Well, that's pretty good, and I like it. So from here, we still have our amazing, White Dragon engine. It's real good. I don't like playing the equip spell in most stuff because it has a chance to burn you out with Book of Moon or Soul and Luna. Medora, same reason, discard. If you're playing a discard deck, you could discard it with Melody, you could discard it with the skill. Put your skill back into play by putting your components back in grave. Tribe Infecting Virus, it's a great discard outlet for Armed Dragon and for a slime pieces. So you can summon Tribe, call their monster, discard either one. Summon either one, now you're pushing for 38. That sounds amazing. You've got creature swaps because I'm a scumbag. You send these pieces of crap over, you give it to them, now it's yours, and you win. Foolish Burial to get the game started with either one of these. Or Armed Dragon, and my favorite play is Foolish Burial, Medora, Foolish Burial, and something else back. I think that's cool. It's like your Rhoda in this deck. MSTs, Book of Moon, and Forever Book of Moon. Not quite sold on this in this deck, but this is a deck I easily like to play at 30. Vampire. This deck's seen huge play before because of Twisted Personality. Each time you take life points, put a counter on this card once per turn. Use either effects. 2 counters from this card, discard random card from your opponent's hand. 3 counters, destroy the face-up card your opponent controls. They cannot respond to this. This is not a card effect. This gets rid of almost every card you could possibly imagine. That being said, the vampires constantly burn you, and this card's going to take that burn damage and get you some real estate out of it. This deck I'm not super duper confident on, but we're going to give it a go and see if it works. The bats and the dogs work as Treeborn Frog or Tribute Fodder kind of cards. These 4 are your monarchs. Jinzo's another monarch. Tomato will summon one of the little small guys, which will put you into engine. When this card is special summon, pay 500, add a vampire monster. This one, add a vampire spell trap card. Creature swap to send over garbage. And then beat them up with their own stuff. Haunted Shrine, it's like a trap Monster Reborn. We have regular Monster Reborn. I'm not sure if I'm going to play this because I kind of hate it. This card lets you summon a vampire from your deck. This can be used as a starter or an ender. And I like that a lot. And then the last deck is a crappy deck, but I think it'd be fun to try out, which is a water deck. If you have Umi or Legendary Ocean, non-effect water monsters, you control unaffected by non-effect water monsters. You cannot snipe under these guys. Yay, if Umi's up. But they just pop Umi and then that, so it doesn't matter. The big part is once per turn, you can add a water monster from your graveyard to your hand. But for the rest of your turn, you can activate cards, effects, until you normal summon that monster. So what that means is, you want to play a bunch of one-of water monsters and really abusing your opponent for it. The Legendary Ocean in the field, you can use Reactor Slime to get the Metal Reflex Slime, you have Infinite Wall. Penguin Soldier's super obnoxious of a card. Submarine Roid is just like the Dark Scorpion guys. It does 800 damage, attacks directly, it goes to defense, it dies, it comes back, it comes... and that says it's a problem card. Tribe Infecting Virus is a water, so you can discard anything and then add it back. You can add back Tribe Infecting Virus as just a blowout card in general. Or if Atlantis discard to get Legendary Ocean, which gets you almost everything. Including these 2 guys. Random Fish, just a strong beater. This could go. Terra King Salmon, it's level 5. It's 2600 when it's summoned. You can summon a tribute with Legendary Ocean. He's just annoying. He's the beater you actually... Well, let's kill the 7-color fish. We've got our big fish. This is Umi. Puts everything down a level. Gives it some points. Book of Moon, just annoying. That's the other of our third. I was going to play a third Tribe Infecting Virus. One of the issues with this deck is that since you constantly add monsters back, you have monsters. So I was afraid to put too many monsters in, so I went for a variety of monsters. Foolish Burial is your reinforcement army in this deck. You can Foolish Tribe with Legendary Ocean in the field, add Tribe to hand, now you're tribing everyone. Same thing with, you can Foolish Slime with Legendary Ocean up, summon Slime, get 2 tokens, get a trap, and then set it up again. I mean, it's amazing. Soul and Luna, just a way to abuse your cards. It's a Book of Moon, you're going to have monsters, and this card it basically gives you your 3rd Book of Moon. And so that's the 16 decks I'm going to try to play for my testing portion. And I'll show you how I go about figuring that out. So like I said, everything's in paint with me, so bear with me if you can. So here's our 16 decks. The very first thing I had to do was kind of organize them in a way like if I was going to rank them without playing them. So that's what I did. I took our 16 decks and I ranked them. I think without doing any testing at all, I think these 4 decks will be the best decks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just like this order, these are the decks I'm not really confident on. They could be playable, they could not be, but I'm going to give them a go. These decks I've seen success with in the past. These decks are memes. They might work. That's why that's why they're in the lower half. This is all the decks that were good, have been good, or have Armed Dragon White basically in them. That is really the name of the game. Armed Dragon White, I think, is a meta-defining card, and 4 of the decks play it. Of the top 8, in my opinion. So, how am I going to go about this? Is I've taken them each and I put them into individual brackets. So, what I do is I play these 4-man brackets, or 4 deck brackets, and so I'll do if either of these decks go first. So, the mirror match is always a 50-50. If Dark Magician goes first against Exchange and it wins, then how I do it is I take the guy, copy, paste, and I drag it over, and bam, I put the win in. And I'll know when a deck is good when I see stuff like this. When it wins going first, and then when it wins going second. And whenever it wins in the brackets, in each individual bracket, we go through. Woo! That's how let's quit rambling. So, once a deck does well, it'll be obvious because its face will be all over the bracket. So we'll take maybe the 2 best decks of each bracket and make a final bracket. So, or take the 2, we'll do it like that. So, from, say, the green bracket, we might get 2 decks out of here. It could be Ra and Dark Magician. We could get Heart of a Warrior and Slifer. We could get Snipe and Dawn. We could get Amazons and Fossil. And then we'll make one bigger final bracket where all those decks play against each other. But first, I want to see how they do in these smaller brackets because I cannot be bothered to test one weird strategy against 30 other strategies. And I need to make room for actually improving the decks. You know what I mean? I can't just test them forever. So this is my process. I've done this before. And I found this gives you a very clear picture of what deck does the best in a format where you have to explore it all yourself. So that's going to be it for this one. I have to build the decks, prep them, and sleeve them up and get playing with them. I don't know if I'm going to test on Duelbook with my buddies. I don't know if I'm going to test on paper, off camera. I'll just post the results. If I get any gaming clips of it, that's how I'll do it. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll get to test it. I think when I finish the green bracket, I'll fill it in, and that'll be my next video. All right, thanks for watching.